All right. Chuck's Chat YouTube, week 3, college football. Quick little rundown from last week. Ben had the best week so far on the season, 13-6-1. He's now 21-16-2, 57% and 1-1 on locks. Ferry went 6-3-1. He is 10-10-1, 50%, 1-1 on locks. And I went 5-5, so I'm 11-12-1, 1-1 on locks. I guess before you want to start anything, I have a feeling Ben has some thoughts on Pitt, Tennessee. I have a feeling you have some thoughts on Pitt, Tennessee. If you want a therapy session,
here I'll just get it out there. There's one scumbag in particular. I'm not going to name him. He's not on the show. Fuck you, guy. I'm sure you're listening. I'm sure you're listening tomorrow morning. I'm sorry you don't have a team to root for. So you probably didn't even watch the game, so you didn't know what happened. Shout out Tennessee fans. They were very nice aside from one fucking dickhead. All the other ones were respectful. We talked after the game. They were nice people. But I'd pretty much sum it up as what can go wrong will go wrong. I mean, we didn't kneel at the end of the half. Our QB got concussed, and then we fumbled it, and then they got 3, and then our second QB got hurt instantly. We decided to keep him out there on half a leg. And then, we lost in overtime. I never really thought we had a shot after Nicky Patty got hurt. Shout out Nicky Patty, he plays hard out. But this week, we should be back. Keaton Slovis is allegedly playing. No confirmation on that. But, I mean, not everything can go your way. I mean, health's a big thing.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point, and I don't know about you guys, but I bet a significant amount of underdogs, especially like 6-7 point dogs, every time it gets into OT, and this is in the NFL too. And obviously I got fucked on the Pitt one that they lost by 7 and I had 6.5. But I had the Steelers on Sunday, and even games last year, like I remember the Colts were 7-point dogs to the Ravens, and it went into OT when they were up like 22-3 at one point. Every single time, and this is especially true, and this kind of came to fruition in the West Virginia game, not to bring this up, Ferry, but every time I have a dog of like 7 points, I'm like, I'm going to get fucked because there's going to be a touchdown and a pick 6 for no reason. And that happened in the West Virginia game. At some point, it's going to happen to me in the NFL, and I'm going to lose my shit. Every time it gets to overtime, I'm like, I'm fucked.
It won't happen in the NFL because they're men of honor. They would just
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I think they would. Kansas, they got to have something, so.
It's especially true when, because I thought this last night, or not last night with the Giants. Like, if the Titans, or no, I guess the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky, the Bengals will get a field goal, then just pick 6 at the 20-yard line. Like, they just kick off and then. But okay, so Ferry, best bet regret from week 2.
Best bet was clearly my Kansas State pick. That was
great pick.
That was easy. It just turned out to be easy. Like, I can't hate on that. Worst pick, I would say, I want to say the sorry. I feel like I'm blanking. I'm thinking the over in Bama, Texas. That did not hit.
No.
That just that was not the greatest. But hey, you win some, you lose most.
And Ben, what do you got?
Best bet is between 3, I think. Texas, hook 'em, obviously. The Iowa under was not even in question. And then obviously I should have taken them outright if I did Mississippi State that one year when they beat LSU, but I should have picked Kansas outright. I had them spread. That was never in doubt really much of the game either. Worst bet.
What? We were up 3 touchdowns at one point.
I wasn't paying attention to the game. That's still the score. And then worst bet, probably Vandy plus 13 versus Wake Forest. They just were never in that game. Never.
Best bet for me was Texas also. And then bet regret. I thought there would be a sandwich spot for Penn State, and the spread was 28, and they won by 40, I think. I never felt good about that one.
I had that under. It did not come close to hitting.
See, the thing that I need to start factoring into these sandwich spots and this is like more
You
of a
gotta think
note
about
for
the
next
total.
year. Well, not even that. Like, there's no reason for when Drew Aller comes in the game, they're going to keep throwing the ball. Like, Clemson's going to be the same thing where, like, Cade Klubnik's going to come in and they're just going to keep chucking it all over the field. Like, they have no – for when there's a young quarterback that they're trying to work in, like, they're just going to keep throwing. So that's where it hurts me. Where unless Ohio played it close the whole way, it was going to be fucked, and I never considered it. That regret.
I also
All
want to say biggest
yes.
loser, Big 12 was an embarrassment last weekend. Texas Tech, you can't storm the field and tear down your goalpost for being Houston at home in overtime. Kansas, I mean, you can't lose to Kansas by 14 West Virginia. And I'm sure there's another 13? Big 12 13. And I mean, there's probably some other Big 12 team did something stupid. I just wanted to point out the incompetence of the Big 12.
Well,
Continue.
The over in the BYU game hurt me a lot too. That was a bad bet too.
Baylor lost.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, without Puka,
Gunnar Romney.
Puka and Gunnar.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. We'll see if they're playing this week. It looks like they may not be. The Sun Belt is better than the ACC.
Agreed.
Disagree.
They had more SEC wins this week than the ACC did.
If Pitt had its quarterback the whole game, we would have won that game. Anybody with eyeballs knows that.
What was
that would have been one
text
more.
That Ben said, here I quote, they can still get it. I think some of the ACC teams they play stink. Just want to say, I believe you're going to get your word there.
I mean, every conference has teams that stink. Look at the Big 12, West Virginia.
No, it's a war zone in the Big 12. Look at the Sun Belt. Look at the Sun Belt East. Everyone's getting paid and beating top 10 teams in that division.
You know, I'll concede. Fine. They're the best conference in the nation, so it's not like the ACC is the best. It goes the Sun Belt, SEC, ACC.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my ranking.
Yeah, I would also put them ahead of the Big Ten. Okay, so games of the week. First, big noon. Sorry, I'm pulling up the Action app because I didn't actually put the spreads in to my notes. All right. Big noon kickoff. Oklahoma going to Nebraska. Nebraska is an 11-point underdog at home. The total is 66.5. Ferry, since you're the Big 12 expert.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I don't make the rules either. So I got to go Nebraska plus 11. I mean, new head coach at home, big rivalry game. I mean, I hate it, but hey, you know, I'm a rule follower. So Nebraska plus 11.
Ben, is this your lock?
No, I know who you're gonna pick, Chuck. You're probably with Ferry, Nebraska. I'm taking Oklahoma. I think everybody's on Nebraska. Nebraska stinks, and I'm done betting on them. I'm probably not even gonna touch this game. This might get removed from my card because I hate Nebraska. I had such high hopes for them. They're in the toilet for the next 2 to 3 years. So Oklahoma, I would feel comfortable laying the points. I could trust them to not blow the load against Nebraska, which is hard to do, I think.
They played them close last year.
I mean, this is a different year.
Yeah, so I already bet Nebraska plus 13.5. I would take it all the way down to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coach fired game. This is going to be the best effort you see from them all season, the rest of the way. They have equal-ish talent. Casey Thompson played great against Oklahoma last year when he was on Texas. The great home field advantage. They were close with Oklahoma last year, 7-point game. Ohio State, Michigan. They're going to play this team competitive. That's just what Nebraska does. They're going to play this team competitive, probably muff a punt and lose the game by like 5.
Now, I do want the record to be known that if Nebraska does not cover, I will be fading them every week the rest of the year because then they're dead to me.
It's a last stand for sure.
Yeah. Then there's nothing else. I would rather lose with them knowing that I can sleep at night if I go against them after they lose or after if they don't hit this bet on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know who their interim is, but
doesn't matter.
I have a feeling it's gonna be fired up Cornhusker Nation. I did hear, so I listened to this one podcast. Bet the Board, and one of the guys on there, he was saying that he was like, so one of the host is Todd Furman, if you know who he is. He does this Fox show with Clay Travis and cousin Sal and Rachel Bonetta when she used to work at Fox, and his co-host was saying that he was like, yeah, I don't want to get into it on the podcast, but let's just say Scott Frost had a ton of distractions this season. So I don't know what that means, but maybe his focus wasn't entirely on the field. And now that him and all the other distractions are gone, we'll see an inspired unit that keeps it within 11 points. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Too much fun in Scotland.
Yeah. Next game, Michigan State going to Washington. Washington is a 3.5-point favorite. Over under is 56.5. Ben, I feel like you have a strong opinion on this game.
I don't. I haven't watched either of these teams play. I'm going Washington minus 3.5. I don't even like their quarterback. I just think that's a long way to go. At home is big. I think they're both 2-0, correct?
Correct. They've both played tomato cans.
Okay, awesome. I'll roll with the whole home team. Neither of these teams has proven shit to me this year. No offense to Michigan State and Washington, but I'll lay the points at the home team.
Fair enough. I also agree. What's his name? Michael Penix stinks. He was awful last year for Indiana. I feel like it's a sucker bet to take at Michigan State. But at the same time, Chuck, whatever you got, I'm riding with you because I'll ride with you because what Washington did to you last year was despicable. And,
True.
You know, if you're with Michigan State, I am all in on Michigan State with you. If not, you know, I guess bygones are bygones, and I'll be with you. I will disrespect Washington after what they did to Chuck.
Yeah, that was fucked up. It was fucked up.
I mean, he's betting Washington this game.
That's fine.
I took Washington at 1.5. on Monday. It is up to 3.5. I see some rogue threes out there at DraftKings and Fox Bet. I would bet both of those. I don't really like taking 3.5 just because of the hook. Like if you can find a better number, take it. If the only thing out there is 3.5, this is a horrible spot for Michigan State. Ranked 10th in the country. Washington, maybe there's some tides turning there because of the new coach, good environment. We'll see, but it's weird. The game of the year line opened at Michigan State minus 3.5, and through 2 games of both teams playing subpar competition, it's weird that it has moved all the way. So my antennas are up, and I have bet Washington because of that.
I will ride with you. I mean, bygones be bygones, but Chuck, if they burn again, they're dead. They're on the dead to me list.
Apple Cup, I'll have to be all about Wazoo.
Oh yeah, big time. Big time.
Next game, Penn State going down to Auburn. War damn Eagle Paul. The Auburn Tigers are 3-point underdogs at home. The over-under is 47.5. Matt Ferry.
I don't plan on taking it, but I don't really like this game at all. I think at least it was fun to watch last year, and Happy Valley was a good game. But no Bo Nix this year. But if I were to take it, I would take Penn State at the points. But again, that's just where I lean. But I probably won't take it.
Bad.
I'm going with the home team, Paul. War damn Eagle.
I'm taking Penn State.
Oh,
-3. I just don't think Auburn's a very good team.
You're going to miss out when you can't say war damn Eagle.
I will be sad, especially if they win also on top of it all. I just don't think Auburn's very good. When Sean Clifford throws for 200 yards in this game, because it's not a very high bar to clear, him and Will Levis will have the same amount of 200-yard games against SEC competition since the start of last year. Will Levis is overrated. Okay, I just wanted to
that was so out of the pocket.
I mean, he's played like 9 SEC games. That would be tough for them to have the same number.
He ate Gator after he beat Florida, though.
He did. That was cool. I don't know. Oh, BYU at Oregon. Oregon's a 3.5-point favorite. BYU coming off their first top 10 win since Ty Detmer was there, so a long time ago. The total's 58. Ben, what do you like in this one?
I keep swaying back and forth. Right now, I'd like BYU plus 3.5. If it was Oregon 2.5 or 3, I think I'd bet Oregon. I like the field goal. I think BYU is a scrappy team who's out to prove something. I like Oregon too a lot because they just got the shit kicked out of them by Georgia, and this is the next chance they have to actually show they're a competent team. So the number has me flipping sides. Right now, I'm calling BYU. I think they're a scrappy bunch of dogs who aren't going to be scared of Oregon. Oregon's going to be out to prove something. I think it's going to be a good game. But right now, I'm BYU plus 3.5.
Agreed, and that's on Fox right after Nebraska, Oklahoma, which will be fun. Ferry, what do you think?
I've got Oregon minus 3.5. I hate it, but I'm going to take it. I just think, letdown spot, big emotional win last week for BYU.
I'm flipping back.
So, I hate it, but because Georgia made Oregon seem like they're not a competent team, but Georgia will do that. But BYU.
Actually, I'm sticking BYU. Bo Nix is the quarterback.
Oh,
that is a great reminder. That is a great reminder.
I just remembered that when I flipped. I'm flopping back.
That was not my decision, but since I hate it, I'll stick with it. Minus 3.5.
I agree with everything Ferry said. This feels like a BYU letdown. Oregon at home. I really think that Puka, Nakua, and Gunnar Romney are not going to play again. And their offense did not look good without them. And they would have to be relying on a freshman starting receiver on the road. I think it's a really bad spot. So I'm going to go Oregon here to cover. But BYU still has Arkansas, and who knows what Notre Dame makes of themselves. But a couple big games left for them that, an 11-1 gets them to a New Year's 6. We'll see. This should be a fun game.
I'm flopping back. But on the caveat, if Gunnar Romney plays, I'm flipping back to BYU.
Okay. From what I've seen this week, it looks like the way he's talking is that the doctors will not clear him.
Well, if they do, I'm betting BYU.
If they're playing, I would imagine it may get below. We'll before news even gets announced, we'll be able to tell if it goes to 4 or if it goes to 2.5.
Right.
We'll know what's going on. What else Miami at Texas A&M. A game that I will certainly not be watching. Probably. It's at 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Ugh.
Yeah. Texas A&M's a 5.5 point favorite. Actually, Ferry, credit to you because I was like, oh, you got to have a strong stomach to take that. App State was super sharp last week. Almost as sharp as Kansas State just winning by 100. So credit to you. Had to get that in there.
Thank you.
A&M 5.5 point favorite. The total's 44.5. Ferry, what do you think of this game?
I have in my notes under 44.5. Don't care. Both teams are awful. Just under 44.5.
I agree. That was the only thing that I had.
It's like I couldn't care.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. I had originally Miami plus 5.5 when we were talking about it, but Chuck was giving his little prologue. I flipped it to Texas A&M plus 5.5. But then I heard that under number, and I wrote it immediately before Ferry even said that was his pick. I'm also rolling the under.
All right. Easy. Any other games you guys want to discuss or just get into cards here?
We can just get into cards.
Get into cards. Okay.
I mean, this week's kind of weak.
See, I agree, but I think it's a really good betting week. As the season goes on, there's more perceptions about teams and there's more different interesting spots. I always feel like the first week or two, we're kind of trying to find our way. Even week 3, I think, to an extent. But when conference play comes up, you start finding different spots and you can really break some things down. We get more data points on these teams. I guess we can start doing it this way. If you guys want to do whoever the leader in the clubhouse, you want to go first. So Ben.
Okay, I'll go first. So I'm gonna start with a Friday night game. Florida State -2.5 versus Louisville. Florida State, I think, is a mediocre team, not by any means good, but Louisville stinks. I'll take the 2.5 at home. Georgia -24.5 at South Carolina. I watched some of the South Carolina game. I had South Carolina. Some guy at the tailgate had that game on for some reason, and not the Alabama-Texas game. So I was stuck watching that. Their Spencer Rattler's not very good. I don't know why I picked him to cover. Georgia should spank this team. Oklahoma -12 versus Nebraska, we already discussed. Rutgers -17.5 at Temple. Temple also stinks.
I like that, and we'll be adding that.
Rutgers may travel. Rutgers may travel to this game because
they may have a home crowd.
Oregon -3.5 unless Gunnar Romney plays. Then BYU +3.5. Auburn +3 versus Penn State. App State -12.5 versus Troy. If I'm not wrong, this is game day, correct?
It is. You are correct.
That is news to me.
Gotta roll with the home team. I think they're good. Troy's also good.
No letdown. Do you think the letdown's negated by game day?
Yes, because it's a small school. If it was a big school, no, but it's a small school. I don't even know if they've ever had game day.
I don't think they have.
They'll get up for this game. Chuck, you'll love this next pick. UL Monroe +50 at Bama. Obviously, I have to take Alabama's not going to cover 50.
Never have.
Never have. Kansas +9 at Houston. Houston got demoralized last week. I think their season's finished. Or not finished, but they might be like a mediocre team, 7-6, whatever the numbers are, 7-5. Kansas proved a lot to me last week. Mississippi State +2.5 at LSU. I think they win this game outright.
I think they're favored.
They're minus.
They might be. Okay. I was about to say, I think they win it outright. I think they are favored. I don't know why I typed it that way. I was reading it because I looked at it weird, but Mississippi State -2.5 at LSU. I think they win by about 3-7. Close game. NC State -10 versus Texas Tech. There's no way Texas Tech is in this game after what happened last week. No respect for the program.
I like that. I like that angle a lot.
Also, they're traveling to NC State. Washington -3.5 versus Michigan State. Wasn't going to have this game originally until I found out Keaton Slovis might be starting. Pitt -10 versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan's not that good this year. I don't even know how to talk about this. I guess it's because we lost last year, but they also lost the quarterback.
Doesn't that line scare you? That line seems super short for if Keaton Slovis is starting. Well, either he's not starting and I'm a sucker, or he is starting and they might lose outright. That's a super short line. Like, you have to admit
No, it's not. The people are going to want to bet the number because they'll be like, oh, Western Michigan beat Pitt last year. That's why they're setting it low. They want to get all those suckers on Western Michigan. They saw Pitt lose to Tennessee. Keaton Slovis is going to be back slinging the ball. We'll be fine. I'm not worried about anything, clearly.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
No, I'm not worried. I still have it down to like 3 as my lock. I'll just decide now. I know what my lock is. Maryland -2.5 versus SMU at home. Maryland can play. They got a good quarterback. I'll trust the quarterback at home. UTEP -2.5 at New Mexico. UTEP's a Texas school. They're a fucking football program. They're going to win this game by more than a field goal. New Mexico stinks. I forget who I even watched them play, but they didn't really.
Boise.
Yes, they didn't really impress me at all, even though I think they won that game.
They lost.
Okay. Okay, yeah, as I said, they stink. Miami at Texas A&M under 44.5. We already discussed. USC -12 versus Fresno. I'm sure Chuck thinks this is a letdown because he had Stanford last year. She was going to bet Fresno. Yeah. I think USC.
I don't think it's because it's a letdown.
I think
USC stinks.
I think USC's good. I don't even want to bet this game because I hate that team because they destroyed Pitt before Pitt could even destroy themselves last week. And then Utah -21 versus San Diego State at home at night. They kick the shit out of teams at home at night. And then I'll say my lock.
Fair, you can go.
I got a lot of opposite picks as Ben. So
do you have North Dakota State on the card by chance? Because I may add them.
I do not.
They play at Arizona. And I think
Oh.
they're favored.
Yeah, I want them.
All right, throw them on.
Whatever they are, minus
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't care what the number was. You could have told me any number. Yeah, I'll start. Nebraska plus 11, like I said. Don't make the rules. I know Ben likes Georgia. I also think Georgia kills them in the second half, but that's not my pick. My pick is South Carolina first half. If it's greater than 12, I think that they at least have some, they come out a little bit.
Why
okay.
12?
Because it's a 24 and a half. Yeah. Yeah. So like 12 for the
So you
first
take them
half.
plus 12?
Yeah.
First
yeah.
half.
If that's what it is. Yeah. For the first half.
Bad number.
I don't make the lines. Okay.
You're taking it.
I have a question for you. Wouldn't it make more sense to take South Carolina full game rather? Because first half you would think that Georgia would come in and kick the shit out of them, and then maybe you can get a backdoor late.
12 and a half is 2 touchdowns, Ferry.
I think that is. I mean, I could be wrong in my thinking, but I think that's more likely on the road. But this being at home, I think they start off okay with the home crowd. Kind of get going for it. That was my thought process.
Yeah.
That playing at home, that they want to come out a little bit fired up. Hopefully, then the real Rattler comes out and Georgia makes halftime adjustments and just wins by 50. But yeah, that's where I stand with that. Like I said, Oregon minus 3.5. Hate it, but take it. I have. As you guys mentioned, I have Troy plus 12.5 in the letdown spot for App State. I mean, but I did not. I did say that before knowing game day was there. I did not know that. But as of right now, I'm going to stick with Troy plus 12.5. So I have in my notes. I knew this was going to be controversial. I said, call me crazy, but I'm taking Bama 49.5. Even though it's never happened. Bama, Saban just doesn't win by that much. He just doesn't. And the Sun Belt, going against Sun Belt is crazy. But I feel like Bama's pissed off after not being good enough last week. And Saban never will forget what they did to him, 15 years ago. I think this might be the time. It might be the time that it happens. I do agree with Ben, Mississippi State minus 2.5. I have the over in Kansas Houston. Dana obviously doesn't care about defense. And after seeing what Kansas did last week to their team, I think that they're going to score a shit ton of points in this game. Unlike Ben, I have Texas Tech plus 10. If it gets below 10, I won't like it. But I think Texas Tech is also pissed off from last week.
What?
The Houston game. It just
they
were in it. What?
Did they win against
Houston did win. Oh, I don't know why.
Texas Tech won.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, that's why I meant
right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, anyways,
They're pissed off.
They tore the goalpost down.
I forgot. Anyways, I still will take Texas Tech plus 10. But if it gets below 10, I won't. Don't know why I had that. But anyways, I'm riding with Chuck for Washington in that game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to take Nevada plus 23 against Iowa. That's going to be.
Oh, God.
That's going to be. I'm not watching it.
Wait, what was that spread?
Plus 23.
Yeah.
Plus 23.
Yeah,
they
just.
How did they give that many points to Iowa?
Nevada just gave up 57 to Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
So we'll see how good Iowa is this week.
I really think Petrus, whatever the hell his name is so just mentally out of it. Everyone knows how bad he is. I think it's good. I think it could be within 20 points, but that's why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm going to go Nevada's plus 23. I already said under 44.5 the A&M game. I just want to say that's probably the least important ranked match maybe of all time that no one will be watching. And then, just my lock is left.
Okay. So I forget because it doesn't matter. Nebraska plus 13.5, Washington minus 1.5, Houston minus 9. I think this is a huge letdown for Kansas. What was it? Double OT against West Virginia.
It was single OT, but
OT.
They returned it the pick.
Yeah, that was the highlight of their season, and they're gonna go into Houston.
Yeah.
Houston played a good Texas Tech team and a good UTSA team, both in overtime. They haven't had a chance to really beat up on someone, and I still think Kansas just passed their win total, I think, for the season. So they're going down from this point on. So Houston minus 9. I also like the under in that game. Sack Avenue is their defensive line at Houston. I think they'll get after Kansas in this game. UTSA plus 12 at Texas. This is their Super Bowl, and Texas, how do they get up for this game after losing to? They just let it all, put it all on the line against Alabama. I don't. If they win this game, I could see them losing this game, and this could be really high scoring. If they win, it'll be close. UTSA will make them sweat.
I almost had that. That was almost on my card.
Rutgers
I
minus.
respect Harcum.
Rutgers minus 17.5. Thank you, Ben. I was looking at that, but now that you took it, I'm definitely in on it. I feel like you just have a feel for this game. Rutgers did beat them like 61-14 last year. Like they whooped them. So I feel like that could be something that happens again here.
Card.
Fresno plus 12.5. I don't regret taking Stanford. USC has a horseshoe up their ass on defense. Ben, did you watch any of that game?
No, I just saw the nameless
you just saw the
man's
score,
highlights.
and it was
I saw the nameless man's highlights and the score.
Yeah, well, the score it looked like a beatdown, but Stanford, I think, turned it over 5 times. They turned it over twice inside the 5-yard line. Like when I was watching, thank God I had Seattle because I was having like Vietnam flashbacks watching the Broncos fumble inside the 5-yard line. That was basically what Stanford did. And they were never going to stop USC. They could do whatever they wanted. But hopefully Fresno just doesn't make stupid mistakes, and I think they can keep it in 12.5. As Ferry knows, Jake Hayner's our guy. And this is a huge, huge game for them. Penn State minus 3. New Mexico plus 3 against UTEP. UTEP stinks more than New Mexico.
They're in Texas.
And then NC State minus 10. I also added that because of Ben.
You're welcome.
And then my lock is Syracuse money line minus 114 against Purdue. It started out Purdue. This line looked ratty to me when it started. Purdue minus 1.5 going to the Carrier Dome. Then it flipped. So I think Syracuse wins this game. Ben, I guess if you want to go.
Sure. So my lock is Iowa, Nevada under 39.5.
I love that.
I just gotta pray to God and hope. I'm not gonna watch this game because these games stink. But I just like looking at the score, seeing like 10-3 at half, and thinking, oh, I think that's good. Hopefully it continues that way. I'm gonna roll with the trend. Hopefully it continues to go well.
Fair enough. Not to keep bringing up New Mexico, it's not my lock, but rumors have it Brian Urlacher will be there in attendance. Just if that scares you. No, I'm kidding. I just made that. But
that's an interesting tidbit.
I thought I saw that, but you never know. He could be there. But
I had no idea he went there.
Yeah, no, he's like the guy there. I heard some interview about him. Had no D1 offers besides there. All right. Nonetheless, you mentioned it earlier, Chuck. We texted about this back in July. I would be a fraud if I didn't take Fresno State. That's my lock. Jacob Hayner, as we are big fans, and there won't be any fans.
Not taking the best friend parlay this week. That's
sure. It's got to be. And, there won't be any fans in attendance at this game. It's still way too warm. They're not going to football games out there. So Fresno State comes in ready to roll.
Yeah, and that's at I think it's at like 10:30 at night. So we will be texting about that way too late. Watching Jordan Addison score another touchdown on us. It is. Did you watch the Stanford game?
I didn't watch any of that. I was only watching the BYU game.
Yeah, no, their offense. Their offense is insane, but their defense is like as good as their offense is. Their defense is equally as bad.
So they're Oklahoma.
Lincoln Riley turned USC into Oklahoma. Yeah,
fair enough.
Sorry.
Jacob Hayner's gonna have scouts there, so he's got to turn up. True.
Yeah. I think I said Oregon minus 3.5. But yeah, so that's the show. Anything, Ben? Who do you think wins first, Notre Dame or West Virginia?
Ooh, who do they play this week?
Notre Dame
Towson.
has Cal.
Oh,
We played Towson at
West
home.
Virginia has Towson, and Notre Dame has Cal.
There's not
West
even a
Virginia
spread.
has who?
Towson.
There's not even a spread available.
Oh,
There's not even a spread
West
available.
Virginia. I've been to
Virginia.
Towson. There's no way they have a competent football team.
They don't have a spread for the game. It's one of
Cal's a
those
much
games.
more competent team. Are they going to Cal?
No.
Oh, okay. They'll both win.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Parlay
what time do they
that.
play? I think West Virginia.
Keep parlay that.
West Virginia plays at 1, and what Notre Dame plays at
Probably 2:30.
Oh, true.
Yeah, see, that's a fun
So,
parlay. West Virginia.
Yeah,
and
so I'll
Notre Dame.
parlay that.
yeah. But so, I did tweet at
Throw Pitt
Sicko
in there
Committee
too. Pitt money line.
for
Yeah.
the show.
That's the best friend
Oh,
parlay.
if Slovis starts, add Western Michigan plus 10.5 to my card.
I'll ride with that if that's the case. But I did tweet at Sicko Committee before the show. Marshall versus Bowling Green is apparently on the NFL Network at like 5 o'clock.
Oh my god,
that's on the I didn't know that's a thing, but that is just hilarious to see Bowling Green versus Marshall on NFL Network. Like, what are they doing?
Letdown spot.
that is a huge letdown spot.
Yeah, huge letdown spot, but Bowling Green stinks out loud.
They do stink. They just went. Let me look. Hold on, before we end this thing, we have a minute left here. They had an awful loss. If I can find it here. Give me 1 second. Oh, I think it was Eastern Washington, maybe. Hold on. Yeah, because they're brutal. Oh, Eastern Kentucky. They lost 59-57. So yeah, no, they're
That
real
is
bad.
brutal.
They're real bad. But yeah, so all right, that is the show. We'll see you guys next week for week 4 last week. Oh no, we have two more Saturdays in October. No, one more Saturday in October. Next weekend's our last Saturday in October, talking about college football. We're all gonna win our locks and go above 500 this week.